So I recently finished the award-winning expansion Heavensward, and boy, did I have fun. So as you can see here, this is my tier list from A Realm Reborn. This is all the character rankings. God, looking at some of these, man, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what was I thinking? But before we start, I'm going to actually remove the characters who didn't make an appearance in Heavensward. Rest in peace, big man. You stopped Bahamut, you know, you did the right thing. Just... she could have been so much more. She could have been so much more. Get up, you wee dick. It's just the cabbage. It's so sad. Okay, so that's we removed all the characters that didn't make an appearance. So I'm going to go in alphabetical order. I'll keep everyone on the tier list as they are right now, but then obviously when I start to address a character, I'll obviously start moving them up and down. So let's start with Alisaie. So for Alisaie, I'm actually going to keep her right here as a B. And once again, she didn't turn up until the end of the expansion, just kind of like with A Realm Reborn. But yeah, she was pretty much the exact same character, you know, very sassy, you know, very to the point, unlike Alphinaud. And I did like her interaction with Gabu, the wee child, during the Titan section of the game. I'm interested to see, now that she's properly in the Scions at the end of the expansion, going into Stormblood, I'm interested to see where her character goes from here. And speaking of the twins, next one is Alphinaud. I'm actually going to put Alphinaud from a C to a B. I'm going to put him behind. Alphinaud definitely improved from Realm Reborn. Realm Reborn, he was very, you know, oh, I know what I'm doing, do as I say. And then he got a dose of reality at the end of A Realm Reborn with the Banquet and the Crystal Braves. He just grew as a character. I think it was a reality check for him and he actually became more grounded. And now he's not as bad. He still sometimes tells you to go off and do tons of things, but he seems a lot more proactive now in doing things, and he isn't just like always sending you away to do things. I'm gonna stick him in B for now. And next we have our first new character for Heavensward, the Archbishop Forden. I don't know whether to put him a D or an E. I'm going to put him at the bottom of D for now. I might move him around later, but yeah. The antagonist of the expansion, basically, you know, the church in anime is always evil. You can never trust them. And yeah. Heavensward and Final Fantasy XIV was no different. I was interested in the fact that he said he was kind of working with the Ascians and he just straight up told you, but he basically said, oh yeah, don't worry mate, I'm only using them, I'm gonna screw them over when the time comes, don't you worry about it. But then obviously that means that he's more than happy to screw you over, which is sort of what happened at the end. He obviously is the father to Aymeric, and he did what any good dad does. He threw his son in jail for attempting to expose the whole Elizans can become dragons if they drink the dragon blood and all that. Yeah, but he's a bit of a bastard. You know, he becomes the primal Forden at the end to try and, like, you know, basically usher in peace, which is basically what he wants, his rules. Ultimately, it ended up him just being a bastard. I don't think it's enough to put him down in like E or F tier, so I'm gonna stick him in D, but the very bottom so far. Next up, another new character. Ardbert, aka the Warrior of Darkness. For the time being, buying in the middle of C. He turns up at the end of the expansion, like into the post-patch content, and yeah, we don't get too much time with him, but obviously knowing that he is essentially another version of you, like you as the Warrior of Light, where he came from, his world, he did exactly what he was told. He fought for light, he overcame all the challenges, and then he gets screwed over by his world basically being engulfed in light. So he's a very tragic character, and I wish we could have got more time to see him, but yeah, for now I'm going to stick him in C because I can't really rank him any lower, even though we didn't get much time with him, because he is basically another Warrior of Light. Obviously Warrior of Darkness now, but yeah. And next up we have Aymeric. Oh my god, what a fucking boy. He is going in S tier. Easy S tier. I knew from the start that obviously this expansion you'd be working alongside him a lot more often, but my god, what a guy. He improved so much. I mean, he was B tier in A Realm Reborn simply because he came in sort of in the last quarter, I would say, of the expansion. And yeah, you just kind of like spoke to him a few times and then that was it. But I feel like Heavensward, obviously you and him really became pals. You save him from the vault, you work with him to bring in the peace between the Elizans and the dragons. Obviously you brokered the peace or the partnership between Ishgard joining the alliance again, and yeah, you have dinner with him. I mean, what else can be said about the guy? He's outstanding. S tier. And next up we have Biggs. I'm just gonna actually do both Biggs and Wedge since they always come in a duo. I'm gonna put them they're gonna get dropped down to D tier. They really didn't do that much in this expansion. You kind of went to the workshop and they'd be there and they'd be like, oh hello, we're gonna provide you with a vehicle to drive in, or we're gonna work on this ship, or blah blah blah, and that's it. And they're just kind of in the background. It's really mainly Sid you speak to when it comes to that. So yeah. Right, next we have a character who did appear in A Realm Reborn, but I never added them. But I thought, you know what, I may as well add them now. Dulala. I'm gonna stick Dulala in E tier. E tier for me is like the tier where it's like that. I don't really care about you. Like, you could be in the expansion, you could not be in the expansion. If you were to disappear tomorrow, I really wouldn't care. I mean, I'm only putting her here because she does show up during the whole Nanimo obviously coming back, realizing that she's actually just been put to sleep and she isn't actually dead. So she does play a part in that, obviously speaking to you and Rabon and all that. Yeah, other than that, she doesn't really do much, but I'll stick her in here just in case she does play a part in later expansions. And I've just realized I totally skipped out some people. Jesus Christ, I'm a professional, man. I am a professional. So much for me doing it alphabetical way. Next up, who it should have been is Arturo, aka as I like to call him, Arte, because I'm lazy with naming people. Yeah, I'm gonna stick him behind Arbert. Definitely the more reliable son of House Fortemps. Once again, you don't really get too much time with him, but you can kind of tell what kind of character he is. You know, he's very like, at first he kind of is a wee bit wary of you. He's not too sure, but then obviously when you work with him a wee bit, then he, you know, he comes around and says, okay, you know, you are the real deal. You are actually, you know, an ally to Ishgard and House Fortemps. And yeah, he's just a more reliable brother of the Fortemps. Yeah. Not really much else to say. C tier. Okay, next up is Sid. Sid, I put him in S tier. I think I was a wee bit too generous in A Realm Reborn for this. I'm going to stick him down in A tier now because I feel like he doesn't have too many big moments of that in this expansion. Like, he obviously helps you with the White Whale. He provides the mana cutters for you. To you and Estinian to get to the area, and then obviously he works with Nero at the end to launch the Omega weapon. But yeah, I think I was just a bit too generous in the last one, so A tier is probably good for Sid. Edmond Fortemps, aka the Count. I'm gonna stick Edmund in. Yeah, I'm gonna stick him behind Sid. Fucking get out of the way, Rabon. I mean, this guy literally, he didn't even know you. He just basically took Haurchefant's word for you, and he welcomed you with open arms. He let you into his nice big house and said, what's mine is yours. I understand what you're going through is bad. You did nothing wrong. He is basically like kind of like your dad in this expansion. It's heartbreaking, obviously. He's such like a proud, nice, welcoming guy, and then obviously when Haurchefant dies, that just completely crumbles when you see him. He just like, he tries to stay, you know, firm, like saying like, oh, it's what he wanted, you know, it's a knight's calling to protect, and then he just breaks down. He just can't hold it anymore. Next up is Aledibus, or Aledibussi as we like to call him. He's in D tier right now, and I'm just gonna keep him there. Once again, sporadically appeared throughout the expansion. He was on the moon at one point. I have no idea what the fuck that's about, but he spoke to Ardbert, the Warrior of Darkness, and basically told him, hey, you should go and beat up the Warrior of Light. And then he obviously recovered Nidhogg's eyes and gave it to Elbert, and that whole scenario happened. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep him in D for now. Next up, we have the other son, Emmanellain, or as I like to call him, Emmy for short, because once again, saying long names is difficult for me. I probably even butchered his name there. Emmanellain, I'm gonna put him behind his brother, because they're both like, they both get near enough the same amount of screen time. Yeah, he's not the reliable brother in this family. He is cowardly. He'd rather be lazy. He gets his wee manservant, Short King, as we call him. We'll get to him in a moment. He'd rather have him do all the work and he reaps the glory. He's a bit of a bastard, but not as bad of a bastard as like Kinford or anything like that, but just that way where it's like, you know, you would tell him to do something and he'd have like 4 hours to do it, and then you come back 4 hours later and it still would not be done. And he'd be sitting there going, I had no idea I was supposed to do it. Or he'd make up some other excuse. He's more of a comedy relief character. He does have that bit though near the end where like he basically tells a guard to shoot the women. Doesn't want the dragons and Elizans to be, you know, have an alliance together. So that was fun. But yeah, he's been given Haurchefant's post at Camp Dragonhead. So I've got my fingers crossed that he actually does it justice, you know, for Haurchefant and all that. And next up we have the Azure Dragoon himself, Estinian. I'm going to put Estinian at the top of A tier. He's not quite got to S tier at the moment because he does spend a good majority of the time with you during the expansion, but obviously you know what happens at the end of base. he becomes Nidhogg basically, or as I like to call him, a Stinnyhogg. And yeah, he becomes the antagonist, and then at the end obviously he recovers and then he goes off on his own. So I can't quite put him on S tier, but yeah, he's a great character. Obviously during the Realm Reborn we only seen him during the Dragoon quests, but obviously in this he got a lot more screen time. And yeah, he's just like waiting for any opportunity he can to start throwing down for dragon. It's like as soon as like the dragon like disagrees with him, he's just like that. Go do it. Make me do it. Make me do it. He's ready just to attack them at a moment's notice. I enjoyed him and Ysayle's dynamic. And even at the end, even though the two of them butted heads after obviously what happened with her, even to put down a flower like where she passed, you know, which is just a nice touch to the character. But yeah, I'm interested to see where he goes. I hope he turns up in Stormblood at some point, because I'm more than happy to hang out with the Azure Dragoon. Next up we have Flamin. Why is this character in the game, man? Like, yeah, E tier. Like, she obviously wasn't in the expansion because after the ends of Realm Reborn, the banquet, she and everyone else obviously ran away and disappeared. She turns up near the end of Heavensward, and yeah, she continues to do absolutely fuck all. Even when obviously what happened with Minfilia, she just kind of was like, oh, that's a shame. But yeah, like honestly, she could like leave the game and I probably wouldn't even notice. Like her character could go off somewhere and then I just probably would not notice that she's left the game. So yeah, B tier. And next up we have another new character, Gozetsu. He turned up right at the end, like literally the last bit of patch content for Heavensward, and he immediately is going in B tier. I'm gonna put him right behind Alphino. Yeah, I mean he turns up, he sailed across the ocean in a wee boat. He rode over the ocean, just unbelievable. He's an absolute mountain of a man. And then obviously when he turns up, he has that wee comedy moment where he's starving and he just faints forward. And then Urianger has to basically rescue him. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this character goes. He's only been in the game a short while, but he's already made a massive impact. From what I've seen when I was streaming it, the chat really likes this guy. So yeah, I'm going to put him in B tier. I'm interested to see what they do with him in Stormblood. Right, this next guy, like I've looked at the other tier lists that are on Tier Maker, and this guy always seems to pop up in them. So I added him to mine just for the sake of it, just in case maybe he turns up later. But it's this guy, what's his name again? Gernwit? He's going in E tier because he literally shows up like during the last like half an hour or hour of the game, sort of. And yeah, he turns up. He's just a bad guy. He's pure, I'm gonna beat you, and then you fight him. He runs away, and that's it. That's what makes me think he's going to show up later in the other expansions, which is why he's on people's tier lists. F tier's for your scum. I absolutely hate you tier, so he can't go in there yet. But E tier is basically the tier of I could not care if you were in the game or not. So yeah, he's in the bottom E tier. Here we go. Next up is Haurchefant. He's obviously at the top of S tier. Actually, you know what? No. There we go. It's only fitting that he is just the absolute best character of this expansion, and you don't actually even get that much screen time with him, which is funny. What can be said about this guy? He was already pretty high on my Realm Reborn tier list, because he took you in after the banquet. Every time you speak to him, he's like, my friend, how are you doing? You know, he's more than happy to stop what he's doing and help you out at the drop of a hat. And yeah, he continues to do it in Heavensward, and even to the point where he nobly gives his life to protect you from I think the guy's name's Zephyrin. We're gonna get to him, by the way. We're gonna get to him later. He jumps in front of you. It's a knight's calling, puts the shield up, protects you from the spear, and ultimately gives his life so you could keep living. And then obviously he leaves you with that line at the end, a smile better suits a hero. And you give him one last smile and he smiles back at you, and then he passes. So yeah, definitely he's the character I think about the most when I think of Heavensward. Aymeric is fantastic as well, but Haurchefant, just the sacrifice, man, just puts him on a tier of his own, man. So yeah, Haurchefant is in his own tier, absolute top tier. And speaking of the Heavensward Knights, this picture isn't very good, but this is basically all the knights. They are bottom tier F. They are all just bastards. they're not redeemable at all. They have no personality. They are just, we are the Heavensward Knights. We're gonna fucking shit on you any moment we can. They just exist to be an obstacle and just to constantly try and put down everyone but themselves. They suck. F tier. Next up we have Hilda, the mix of a Hur and an Elizin. Gonna put her... yeah, I'll put her here in B tier. I like her. I really like her. She doesn't get that much screen time once again. I feel like that's kind of a common thread with a lot of characters. Is just, yeah, they don't get much screen time. Very no nonsense. You know, she basically rules the streets, you know, and the broom and all that. And she's more than ready to absolutely throw down with the Heavensward Knights and any kind of injustice that's happening in Nishgard. And yeah, not really much else I can really say about her. I like her. I hope to see more of her in future expansions, and yeah, B tier. Next up is the short Kain, Honor It. God, I love the image of him. He's not even filling the frame, he's so small. I'm gonna put Honor It right in front of Emmy, just to add insult to injury. I mean, yeah, what else needs to be said about him? He doesn't appear too much in the story, but it's always funny when he is, and he's always picking up after Emmy. The rioters are writing about the peace between the dragons and the Elizin. He actually gets caught in the middle of it and actually gets beat up. And there's actually a wee bit of, oh god, is he gonna die? But he's okay at the end. And he basically tells Emmy to buck up his ideas, and then Emmy, after getting punched by Fancred as well, decides, yeah, I need to, you know, try harder and all that. So yeah. Next up is Racefalger. I'll put him behind Alphinaud for the time being. I mean, you go to this guy a couple times to try and recruit him to help you obviously broker the peace between the dragons and the Elizin. He basically says, nope. The only reason why I'm not fighting you is because Shiva, I basically made a pact with, or basically a promise with Shiva. But eventually, obviously, he does come around and he does help you, and he fights against Nidhogg, but unfortunately gets his ass kicked. But then again, Nidhogg does have both eyes back. He is also using the body of Estinian, the Azure Dragoon, so it was probably going to happen anyway. Hydrus, aka the Hoop Man. Yeah, for real, why has he got a big hoop on his head? Why? I'm gonna put Hydrus after Archbishop Fortemps. The reason I'm putting him there is also because he issued the command to have the Empire shoot at Ysayle, and obviously ultimately killed her, so that's not cool. And yeah, he's just basically another I do this for the Empire is great, yes. But yeah, he's just another generic Empire bad guy, so yeah, gonna stick with the bottom of D. Next up is Kan-E-Senna, and guess what, Kan-E? You're getting a promotion. I'm going to actually put you above the brothers in that. Kan-E-Senna actually does stuff in this expansion. She actually does stuff. She comes with you to see the Muggles. She brings back Y'shtola from the ether current. You go back to the Lotus Stand quite a lot in this expansion, obviously to speak to her and speak to the other alliance leaders. And yeah, she does a lot of talking. Like, she's not sitting just back like not doing anything, which I was really shocked at. Yeah, her personality is still pretty much a wet blanket, you know, very monotone, but you know, she actually did stuff, so I've got to put her up a bit higher, C tier. And once again, I've absolutely skipped over characters. God damn it, I can't go out. The alphabet is hard, guys. The alphabet is hard. This is the female Ashian who was alongside Lahabri. Igorum. She basically turns up at the end, and yeah, then you just kill her and then she's gone. I'll stick her there for now, just in the middle E tier. She just kind of appears and then she goes, and I'm just like, okay. Elberd, he was kind of compelling in A Realm Reborn, you know, like he's your, you know, your buddy in the Crystal Braves. Obviously he becomes a bastard. Turns out that he really just wants to liberate Alamigo. And yeah, it pretty much continues in Heavensward. I did like the bit early on when you're rescuing Rabon and he's there, and he basically says, they're always making you do things, they're always asking you to do things, why do you keep doing it for them? Like, they're using you basically. And I was like, oh, Elbert's kind of talking some sense. And then he disappears for the full expansion until he comes back later as the Griffin. And yeah, it's just him once again going, Alamigo. So I'm going to have to drop him down to D tier. I'll put him at the top of D. Cryo. I'm going to put Cryo. I'm actually going to put her above Alizé and Alphinaud. She's only been here a short time, but as soon as she appeared, she started sassing Alphinaud, taking the piss out of him. And let's not forget that smile. you know, immediately fit into the dynamic of the Scions, and yeah, she's just been a pretty entertaining character overall, and she seems nice, you know. I'm interested to see where they go with her, and yeah. And I just spoke about him, Lahabri. He definitely doesn't have as much impact in this expansion like he did in A Realm Reborn, so I'm going to drop him down to B. Kind of doesn't really do much. He's sort of around Forden. Forden's basically talking to him, and Eledibus. I think it's the both of them. I think it is. He's kind of floating around the expansion at times, and then he obviously appears at the end of Azizla, and then you fight him. The Archbishop becomes King Forden, kills him, and yeah, that's the end of that. Because obviously he played more of a part in A Realm Reborn, I had to put him higher, but here he didn't really do much, so D tier. Laurentius, he's in F tier right now, and that's where he'll stay. He literally only appeared in like the last 5 minutes of Balzar's Wall, and yeah, he's continuing to be a bastard, so he can stay there. Lorito, he's an F tier. I think I was a bit too harsh for him. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. Once again, another character where if I never see him again, I don't really care. I'm not going to cry over it. I'm not going to be mad or anything like that. The only reason he's got a promotion from F to E, it turned out that he was also orchestrated the whole Nanimal thing. He actually, in a way, made sure that she actually was going to survive and wasn't just going to get straight up killed by Teleji. Yeah, so he gets a wee promotion there, but yeah, once again, could not care if the character lives or dies. Next up is Lucia. I've got her at the bottom of B. I'm going to put her up just behind Hilda for the time being. Once again, you know, she doesn't have too much screen time, but I do like her. You know, she's extremely loyal to the Elizans and obviously Amaric and the Ishgardian people. There's not really much else to say about her. It's like, I like her. I hope she continues to live, more importantly. I hope she gets more screen time. And yeah, obviously her revealing that she actually was the sister of Livia, this character here, the absolute psycho who killed the cabbage. So yeah, obviously she's part of the Empire, or was part of the Empire. Obviously she defected, and she lets you know. She basically says, yeah, I was part of it, but I'm not anymore. You don't have to worry about me, and that's cool. Next up is everyone's favorite Gran, Matoya. I'm gonna put Matoya, yeah, I'm gonna put her here. Sorry, Gozetsu, you didn't have that much screen time. You probably will go ahead and Stormblood, no problem, but yeah, Matoya. I love Matoya, man. You go in, she's got a massive hat, and you go in and Yustola starts talking to her, because obviously her and Yustola know each other, and she's, instead of being like, oh, Yustola, how you doing? Like, not seeing her for ages, she's basically just like, oh, it's you, Yustola. Why are you here? Why have you come to ruin my peace? Basically, she's just done with everything. She's done with everyone. She still helps. Like, it's not like she's just like, pure, get away from me. I don't care about this, something like that. It's more like she does it like sarcastically. Like, you turn up, she's like, oh, look who it is. You know, that sarcastic way. But she's actually like, she probably actually is quite happy to see you. You know, you go there and she, every time you go and speak to her and say, hey, can you help us with this? Then she's like, I can. I'm gonna be really moany about it, but I can help you, no problem. I like Matoya. I hope she turns up more in the next expansion, B tier. Next up we have Merweb. Merweb is in B. I'm gonna keep her at B, but I'm actually gonna move her down. Yeah, I'm gonna move her down past, gonna move her past Lucia. I like Merweb. I like when she, you know, makes an appearance, but yeah, that's just it. When she makes an appearance. And even at that, like, every time she made an appearance in this expansion, she just kind of was standing talking. Unlike A Realm Reborn, she actually got her gun out and started shooting things, like especially during the Leviathan bit. But yeah, she just kind of was there. Honestly, I'm tempted to drop her down to C tier. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that in Melweb. If she does the same in the next expansion, then yeah, she'll get dropped down to C tier. But yeah, I've got to keep her up. I still like Melweb. I still believe in her. She just needs a bit more screen time and more stuff to do, I think. Next up is Midgardsormr. I'm going to keep him where exactly he is. Once again, for it being Heavensward and, you know, all the dragons and that, he really didn't really show up that much. He shows up at the end and obviously he turns into like a somewhat decent sized dragon that you can ride on. He basically turns into a mount. It's time for me to be a mount. And he turns into a mount, and then you can fly him around Azizla. And yeah, he just was kind of there. D tier. Next up is Minfilia. Oh, poor Minfilia. Unfortunately, you continued the trend of not really being, well, in A Realm Reborn, she was around a lot, but she didn't do much. In this one, she wasn't around a lot, and then when she was, she still didn't really do much. Apart from the end, when obviously she dealt with the Warriors of Darkness. But yeah, then it's also the case of that might be it for her. We might never see her again, because she's basically became part of Hydaelyn, or became like the avatar of Hydaelyn. But basically, she's in the crystal world, and yeah, I don't know if she's ever gonna come back. I hope she does, but if she does, it will probably be like you go into that world again and you speak to her like you did at the end of the anti-tower. I feel like I can't drop her any lower than a B, because, you know, she is still a somewhat important character, even though it looks like now she's not going to be part of the story at all, or very little. I'll just keep her where she is for the time being. Just stick her in, just keep her in B tier for now. Next up is Momodi. I don't think Momodi made a single actual like appearance in the MSQ at all, but I don't care. This is my tier list. She's staying in S tier because I still love Momodi. Nah, but for real, I hope she makes an appearance in Stormblood, even if it is just to go and speak to her about one thing and then you leave and you never speak to her again. You know, I'm not removing Momodi from S tier without a fight. She's staying in S tier. Nanamo, she was in A tier. Obviously, she spent a good bit of the expansion sleeping. Well, dead, sleeping, quote unquote. And yeah, the only reason I put her in A tier was because I thought she died in A Realm Reborn. Now that she's obviously okay, she's not really dead much. I'm gonna put her at the bottom of B tier. You know what? Maybe she'll do more when Stormblood rolls around. I don't know. She probably would have been B tier in the Realm Reborn tier list if she survived. But because I thought she died, I rated her higher than she probably should be. So yeah, B tier. And yeah, right beside her is Nero. He only appears right at the end of the expansion, but he really does make an impact when he shows up. Him and Sid, man, you can cut that fucking tension with a knife, man. It's on edge. They are both married and divorced at the same time. But yeah, he's an absolute snake, absolute slimy guy. You know for a fact he's just waiting to screw you over at any moment. But even though he was only in the expansion for a short bit, when you were obviously launching the Omega weapon, him bantering with the rest of the Scions, and obviously Tataru basically saying the kettle uses Magitech, and then him going like that, I could make a better kettle than that. Like he had a lot of funny lines, to be fair. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna put him here. Sorry, held down Lucia. I know you were in the expansion a lot more, but Nero came in and made an impact, you know. And next up we have Nidhogg. I'm gonna put Nidhogg. You know, I'm gonna stick him at the top of C for now. I might move him down or whatever, but yeah. Essentially the second main antagonist of Heavensward. Obviously, you deal with him like halfway through the base of Heavensward. Estinian kills him off. It looks like this is for good this time. He takes over Estinian's body when Estinian has both sets of the eyes when he doesn't expect it. There's not much else to say about him. He's just an absolute raging dragon. He's just mad at, you know, Elizon's, Ishgard, humanity, all that stuff. He just wants to kill everything and get revenge for what they've done to, you know, his family and his, you know, his brothers and sisters and all that stuff. And yeah, we've dealt with him, but his eyes, you know, Elbert got hold of his eyes. The eyes could come back. I don't know. They did summon that primal, Shinru. It wouldn't surprise me if the eyes are gone for good and we never see Nidhogg again, but then again, it wouldn't surprise me if they come back in some way, but yeah. Papalymo. Yeah, Papalymo. I probably would have kept him in C tier because he's not really around the whole expansion until the end, and he's basically the same character until obviously he sacrifices himself to stop the new primal Shinru from being released. He basically pulls a Louis Soir. I mean, it was hit over your head so much. Like when he turns up and you get Louis Soir's staff, and Minfilia basically says, I hope you don't have to use this. And then immediately after you get it, Papalymo says, can I have the staff please? It's like, huh, I wonder where this is going, Papalymo. But yeah, even at that, then he starts doing like the voiceover during the expansion and basically starts saying like, we all have to make our choices. I hope I can make the right choice, and I hope you all can understand when I do it. And you're just sitting there going like that. Papalymo's gonna die, isn't he? He's gonna die. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. He would stay in C if he didn't sacrifice himself, but because he did, you've got to give him props. I mean, I doubt anyone cried over Papalymo dying. I highly doubt there's any Twitch streamer or YouTuber who actually cried at him dying. I think all in all, we all give him respect for what he did. And honestly, I feel more bad for Ida when he died. I didn't feel necessarily sad that he died. I felt more sad for Ida. But his sacrifice so far was not in vain, and we will try our best to continue his name And yeah, just make sure it didn't go to waste. Next up is Pipin. As much as I like Pipin with his hair, he really didn't do much in this expansion, so I'm gonna have to drop him down to C. Yeah, I'm gonna put him above the brothers just because I recently found out he was voiced by Adam Howden, who voices Shulk. Yeah, C tier. I really hope we get to see more of Pipin in Stormblood. Next up is his dad, Rabon. Rabon's already in A tier. I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna keep him where he is in A tier. I still really like Rabon. Obviously at the end of the banquet, man, he got his arm cut off by Elberd. Sloppy. He was kept prisoner, and then obviously we rescued him. Him go from like being like just kind of just angry and defeated when you rescue him, because obviously he thinks Nanamo's dead, and he's just like that. Nothing else matters apart from getting the people who killed Nanamo. That's all I care about right now. And then obviously he wakes up Nanamo, and he just turns back into the old Rabon. Obviously one arm less, but he just immediately goes back to the old Rabon. He starts tearing up and all that, seeing Nanamo's alive. Obviously I enjoyed when you fight him in the melee, and he basically the two of you are looking at each other like that, but oh yeah, it's time to go, boy, it's time to fucking throw down, let's go. The both of you are well into it and that. And even with one arm, he's still definitely, you know, got the strength and all that to back it up. But yeah, still like Rabon. Gonna keep him in A tier. Ral, I really enjoyed Ral in A Realm Reborn, because basically he figured out that there's some shenanigans going on with the Crystal Braves. Pretty much figured out that Elberd was a piece of shit. Obviously because everyone gets scattered, you don't really see anyone that much. And when he does show back up, doesn't really do much. But because obviously what he did in A Realm Reborn, I still like the guy, so I'm gonna put him in C. I'll put him behind Kan-E-Senna in front of Pipin. Hopefully we'll see more of him, but yeah, he didn't really do much in this expansion. Tataru, she's already in A tier. I'm actually going to put her, yeah, I'm going to move her up just behind Astidian. Tataru, like, you start off the expansion with Tataru and Alphino, and she's basically like there from the start to the end. I did like the ongoing saga with her where she was basically always in the pub, and I always kept cracking jokes about how she's in there drinking a gin and tonic while you're off away doing all the dangerous stuff. But no, I did like her new find where she's basically, not only is she the admin of the Scions, she's now the tailor of the Scions. She's gives Alphino his new outfit, Alize her new outfit, Ystola's new outfit, which is pretty good, probably my favorite. And then she gave Ida, or Lise, her new outfit, and she also gave you your outfit. I already liked her at the end of Her Realm Reborn, and then obviously here she's maintained that quality. And yeah, I'm interested to see how the journey goes with her. I swear to fucking God, man, if anything happens to Tataru in any of these expansions coming up, man, I swear to God, I'll be so fucking pissed. My favourite, Thancred. I love his new look in this expansion. Well, I say I love it, but I hate it. He looks like the wife just divorced him and took the kids. Honestly, he's actually lost his mojo, you know? In Realm Reborn and that, he was trying to have sex with anything that moved. Whereas in Heavensward now, he's like very just wants to sit back. He wants to sit in the house basically and watch the telly. I don't know, maybe it's him just now like kind of maturing and being like, I can't be, you know, I can't be so carefree now that, you know, Scions are dying, Minfilia is gone and all that. And yeah, he's a bit of a changed man after the banquet. I mean, the banquet did kind of change a lot of us, you know. He didn't have the same impact to me as he did in A Realm Reborn. I think that's just because obviously the in-jokes I have with you guys watching the streams and the videos and that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put him behind Alphino on that. Just cause he didn't really do much in the expansion, and I spent a lot more time with Alphino and you know, getting to know Alphino a lot more. I'm going to stick Thancred there. Who knows? Maybe he'll rise up the ranks again in the next expansion. I don't know. And next up is Arbert's in this photo, but it's basically the Warriors of Darkness themselves. They just kind of showed up. I'm going to put them in D tier, but whereabouts in D tier? Yeah, you know what? I'll stick them there. They were just another obstacle for you to deal with. It was more Arbert who is the, you know, the standout character for them. So yeah, there's not much to say about them, but apart from the Bard though.
Know that I will happily make it quicker for you, if you just stand still.
That's probably the best bit of them. That was probably the highlight of them, to be honest. Urianger is in C. He obviously looked like he was going to be a traitor throughout like the end of A Realm Reborn, and then obviously through Heavensward, and then it turned out he actually was like he was only like sort of pretending to work with the Ascians to, you know, try and get close to him, which is what I predicted. I still don't quite know what happened with him and Minfilia. It's like Minfilia said to him, I want to be the avatar for Hydaelyn. I want to be part of Hydaelyn. And obviously they knew that that would then mean that she would no longer be, you know, part of the world. She would obviously be in the crystal world, basically. And she spoke to Urianger about it, and he basically begrudgingly said, okay, I'll try and make that happen for you, even though everyone else is going to be pissed about it. Yeah, I'm gonna drop him down behind Ardbert, because Ardbert seems like a more compelling character, like there's more to it. But yeah, Urianger, I want to see more of Urianger. I want him to, like, he feels like he's still not kind of opened up to us all, and I think that's just because that's just his personality. He'd rather, you know, sit in the Waking Sands and read books, you know, study up on things, on primals and stuff like that. Varis, aka the Wide Man, aka man that's built like a Roblox character in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, he's just kind of showed up a couple times. He's clearly like the next big bad that we're gonna have to deal with at some point. I'll stick him at the top of E because he obviously is gonna play into the story going forward, but yeah, we've not seen much of him at all. Next up is Vidonier, and oh my god, this photo of her, man, Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen a dragon go ooh? Where are we gonna put you, Vidonier? I think C is probably likely. Yeah, you know what, I'll put her there. Why not? Yeah, I mean, like, you go and speak to her obviously during like the early stages of your journey with Alphinaud, Estinian and Ysayle, and she wants the peace as well, but you need to basically convince her brothers and sisters that, you know, because they obviously are very skeptical about it all. She saves that girl that got thrown from the vault, and then obviously she's with Amaric making the peace, you know, at the end, which my chat, we called that Dragon Con, you know, when they unveiled the mural and all that. I'm glad she survived Nidhogg's attack, and she seems okay now. But yeah, you know what, I'm gonna drop her down a bit further. Next up is Yayahase, this guy who, as we all know from his Japanese voice,
talks very low.
Yeah, he shows up the same time as Laurentius, and yeah, both of them just kinda don't really do anything, so yeah, I'm just gonna stick him in F tier. And next up is Ida, aka Lys. Did not appear in the expansion until the post-patch content, and now obviously it looks like Stormblood. She's going to be heavily involved in Stormblood. I'm gonna have to drop her down. Yeah, I'll drop her down here. I still like her, and I'm really interested to see where it goes with her now being Lys. You know, she seems like obviously now like a completely new character. I mean, she basically is the meme of, I was only pretending to be stupid, because obviously she was acting like Ida. I think now we're going to see a much more better side of her, you know, a much more compelling, interesting side of her. Yeah, but right now I've got to rank her down because she didn't really appear much in Heavensward. Next up is Ysayle, who I put in D tier, and I'm going to put her in B tier. Nah, you know what, I'll put her here. Sorry, Gozetsu, Matoya, and Yugiri, I like them all more than Ysayle, sorry about that. Went from a character where I was just kind of like, ugh, she's just another obstacle, you know, I don't really care about her, to then obviously you travel with her, you learn more about her and Estinian constantly butting heads with each other, then obviously she sacrifices herself to make sure, like, take out the big Empire ship so that you can get to Azizla and also stop Forden and the Ascians from doing what they need to do. Definitely improved as a character throughout Heavensward, and yeah, it's a shame that she unfortunately died. Ysayle, B tier. Rest in peace. Vyastola, probably in terms of personality and what she does, I'd say she probably would stay in C tier, maybe move up to the bottom of B, but guys, let's be honest, the new outfit, she's got to be a bit higher. God damn it, this tier list sucked. I'll put her up here. Sorry, Gozetsu and Yugiri. Even though I know obviously I'm being a bit more biased to her new outfit and that, but even after when she does join the crew again, she's a lot more involved than what she was back in A Realm Reborn. Like she's obviously part of the Alexander stuff as well, you know, and how's it pronounced? Idleshire. She's a lot more involved in there. Yeah, she improved a lot as a character. And next up is Yugiri. I'm actually going to just keep her where she is. I like the face reveal and all that after she lost her mask. Definitely an upgrade. I mean, her hair is fantastic. I don't know what shampoo and conditioner she uses, but I could probably do with some of that, to be honest. But yeah, once again, Stormblood is going to feature Doma. Her and Gozetsu are going to be, you know, a part of that. That's where they're going back to. And yeah, she's going to play another major role in the expansion, I predict. And now finally, the character you've all been waiting for, Zephyrin. This guy, there's a reason why I made him separate, because this piece of shit killed Haurchefant. You know what? I'd put him at the bottom of F, but that's too good for him. New role. Oh shit, deleted the role. Fuck. There you go. Zephyrin is in scum tier. He killed Haurchefant. That's why I made him separate from the knights. The knights are all just no personality. They're all just dicks. But Zephyrin killed Haurchefant. There's no redeeming him. No redeeming him. The absolute worst character in the expansion by far. I'm glad he's dead. Never have to see him again. So yeah, that's my tier list right here. I'm pretty happy with that. Well, I say that. Probably when I do the Stormblood one, I'll be like how I was at the start of this video, where I'm like that, oh my god, why did I put that character there, blah blah blah. Feel free to comment down below and tell me how wrong I am and how my takes are so bad. I'll see you next time when I do a Stormblood tier list. And yeah, see you after, guys.